verse 14 through 20. Franklin Roosevelt, I think he was our 32nd president, in his first inaugural address stated that, he said, "Let me assert my firm belief that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Nameless, unreasoning, unjustified terror, which paralyzes needed efforts to convert retreat into advance." Let me say it again. He said, "Let me assert my firm belief that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Nameless, unreasoning, unjustified terror, which paralyzes needed efforts to convert retreat into advance." So the only thing that we have to fear is the spirit of fear itself. When the spirit of fear comes upon you, it literally paralyzes you. Sometimes you can't name it, so it's nameless. You can't reason it out, so there is no justified reasoning. It stands alone, and it produces terror to the point that it paralyzes you from moving forward. So every attempt to advance becomes stagnated when fear is on the scene. Every attempt to move forward, to advance, becomes fought against the moment that fear gets on the scene. It's the spirit or emotion that paralyzes every effort that you have to try to get somewhere else in life. And even we can see it if we decide today we want to go back to school. Immediately as you think about it, the fear of, am I going to succeed, comes on the scene. The fear of, am I going to have enough money, comes on the scene. A lot of different fears begin to immediately boggle and start weighing heavily on our minds, because the spirit of fear hates anything that looks like it's pushing you to the next level. And the same state of fear that is operating in the carnal happens in the spirit. And so in the spirit we see that first, fear is first a spirit, which then latches itself onto the emotion. So it works on the mind, and it comes in through a thought. And as soon as fear comes in through a thought, it latches itself to your emotion. So then you feel like, I can't do this, or you feel like, if I go this, then this is what, then I feel like immediately a thought becomes a feeling when fear is in the midst of it. And sometimes you can't even give a good enough explanation as to why you can't do it. You just feel like you can't, or you feel like you won't succeed, or you feel like you won't do it the way you feel. Like immediately just a thought latches itself and becomes a feeling that overwhelms and almost paralyzes the individual from going to the next level. And now at the first sign of any situation, contention, test, trial, the spirit of fear comes on the scene, and it comes to contend with your faith. Because the thing that contends with faith is fear. So the moment that you're standing, believing God and knowing God is saying this, immediately fear comes on the scene. And as soon as fear comes up, it immediately contends with your faith. And it doesn't only attack just your faith in God. It attacks your faith in people. It attacks your faith in society. It attacks your faith in your family. It attacks faith in general. And your faith in God is one of those categories of faith that is under heavy attack. And so you find yourself in a place where you want to go to the next level and you want to advance, but fear paralyzes every effort of advancing. And so God began to speak to me, and he said, we cannot go into the newness that God has for us if we are contending with the spirit of fear, because the fear is trying to paralyze me and God is trying to propel me. I have to release one and submit to the other in order to be successful. Because if I sit here in the midst of all of my fear and God is there calling me to the next dimension, if I don't step away from the fears, I can't step into the next place. If I don't step away from my own mental madnesses, I can't into the next place. And we see a physical example of that in the Bible. We have Job, and we have his wife, and we have Abraham. And Abraham prays for Job when God tells Abraham that he's going to destroy the city of Sodom and Gomorrah. And while God is there in the midst, getting ready to do what he does, and turn to somebody find Genesis chapter 19, reading from 16 to 19 and verse. I just want to give you a biblical reference. Genesis 19. We're going to read 16 to 19. I want to step into a new place that I recognize is better, or that God is calling me into, even though I'm not really sure if it's better yet, but if God is calling me to it, then it must be a better place. But then if I'm sitting in the midst, surrounded by my unreasoning, unjustified fears, then I can't propel. I can't step into, because fear is holding me captive to my own mindset. This is what we've got to understand. Fear doesn't hold you captive to anything that is actually logically fighting against you. And we think a lot of our fears has to do with an external force that's fighting against us. 90% of your fears has nothing to do with anything outside of you. 90% of your fears has everything to do with what is inside of you. We go outside and we don't so fear that somebody's going to shoot us, girls. We want to go outside. So 90% of our fears can't be physical. 90% of our fears are first mental. Can I? Will I? Should I? What if? What if not? We go through a mental state of fear that literally keeps us in bondage to the thing that we're trying to get away from. I hate my job. I hate doing this. I hate doing that. I don't want, but I need the money. So fear keeps me in a place I don't even want to be, because I'm afraid that if I step out, then I won't go to a better place, or a comparable place, or an equal place. Because if I step up, then I'm not going to find something. If I don't find something, then what am I going to do? I'm going to starve, and my family's going to die, and I won't be able to. And the fear comes, and it literally, internally keeps you at one place, talking about the same thing, but you're in the same place because you haven't moved, because you're struggling with your fears. So Abraham prays for Job, and he prays, and he prays for the family while they're in Sodom and Gomorrah. And the Lord tells him, I'm going to destroy the city. And he begs the Lord, he pleads with God. He goes into an all-out back and forth with God, asking God to save the people. God says, no, he's all right, then just save Job and his family. And then he goes, and when the angel gets to, when the angel gets to Sodom and Gomorrah and speaks to Lot, let's read what happened. Genesis chapter 19, reading from 16.
And while he lingered, the men took hold of his hand, his wife's hand, and the hands of his two daughters, the Lord being merciful to him, and they brought him out and set him outside the city.
So wait a minute. While the angel is in the land, trying to free them out of the land that's getting ready to be destroyed, the morning that the place is getting ready to be destroyed, Lot and his family is taking a long time to get their things together to leave. Because of the mercies of God, God lets the angels take them by the hand. Since you can't find your stuff, let me help you find it. He takes them by the hand and he puts them outside the city, because they need to destroy the city. And you are holding it up, looking for stuff, but you're really not looking for stuff, you're thinking about stuff. And so he's lingering about when the angel is ready to do what he needs to do, and he's there to deliver him. Now go ahead.
Lord being merciful to him, and they brought him out and set him outside the city. So it came to pass, when they had brought them outside, that he said, escape for your life. Do not look behind you, nor stay anywhere in the plain. Escape to the mountains, lest you be destroyed. Then Lot said to them, please, no, my lords. Indeed, now your servant has found favor in your sight, and you have increased your mercy, which you have shown me by saving my life. But I cannot escape to the mountains, lest some evil overtake me.
Stop right there for a second. So, the Lord sends angels to his house. When it takes too long, the angels himself bring him out of his house and to a safe place. And then the angel of the Lord says to him, go and run for there, because suppose I go to the mountain and then evil destroys me. How can evil destroy you when I am sending you out? I just saved you. So if I wanted you to die and evil would have killed you, I wouldn't have to come and save you out of Sodom. Why would I put you outside of Sodom and still with the hand of God on you, with an angel right before you, still saying, but what if I go and then I die? The angel literally holds their hands and brings them to safety and gives them liberality to go. And Job's response is, but if I go out, seeing that right here looks safe to me, because you're here, I'm here, Grace here, I'm just going to stay here. Because let's say I go too far from you and some evil comes up on me and kills me. Now, if that's nothing more than the fears of facing a new place that Lot does not know about. Right. Go ahead and read. What verse did that jump to?
That was 19.
Now jump to 26.
But his wife looked back behind him, and she became a pillar of salt.
So then he is questioning God being able to keep him safe even after God brings him out. And she literally, in her mindset, starts thinking about what she's leaving in comparison to where she's going, and she looks back and becomes paralyzed, immobilized, incapacitated. Fear incapacitates you from getting to the next dimension. And if you're going to go into the newness that God has, we can't go in it with the same fear that we had coming out of where we came from. Because